So, Grant, you recently came close to reducing your insurance cover because of rising premiums. Having engaged your Treysta advisor with your request, what happened next?
It was a really useful conversation that we had with the advisor, and following that conversation we decided really to leave it pretty much as was. But we looked at every part of our insurances to see whether we could get some down or not. And I was really very happy at the end of it that I understood fully what was involved, what we could reduce a little and what was not probably sensible, especially at my age, to reduce. So I felt it was really interesting. I didn't feel sold to. I felt that someone was really trying to help me ascertain what it was that I really needed at my age and for my time in my working life.
And then, having experienced a health trauma, how did you find the claims process?
Look, the claims process was really no hassle, and that's what I loved about it, because I got a diagnosis of prostate cancer and it was at a very low level. And so I was thinking maybe Treysta might go out and, or, as I would imagine some insurance companies may, and try and sort of fight and say, well, it's almost too low a level that they've detected, even though in the policy it said you would get a payout for it. So from the advice that I got in terms of how to put in the claim, the help I got from the advisor at Treysta, through to very minimal paperwork, Treysta did most of that for me, and the timelines that they said things would happen in actually happened in. The one thing that I was really quite gobsmacked about, I suppose, was that the advisor rang up from time to time to see how I was going, which was an added bonus. So I felt, and it didn't matter whether it was the advisor I was dealing with or the other staff I was dealing with, I just found it really easy, especially given that I'd got a bit of a traumatic whoa from the doctor.
What flexibilities were afforded to you and your family by receiving the claim payment?
Look, interestingly enough, it came at a time when we needed some extra money because at my age, at 65 now, I'm looking to not work quite as long and hard as I have. So it really did allow us to do a bit of a renovation and downsize, do a house up in the manner in which we really would like, that would allow us to get on with our life and still do some travelling, still play some golf, but have a really nice renovation that we could live in, which is important, after working hard in your life. So it came at a really very good time for us.
How would you describe your feelings towards paying insurance premiums now that you have claimed, compared to how you felt about paying premiums before you claimed?
When I was paying insurance premiums, I really thought that, I'm wasting a lot of money here. I know it's an insurance in case something goes right, but I was really looking after myself. Like, I'm really quite fit for my age. I run, I walk, I play sports still. And, I mentally keep myself as much as I can on top of things. So I really thought that we were paying too much and that we wouldn't really see any benefit from it. And I thought that if we did need to claim, that it would be a horror story of some that you hear with some insurance companies, and it ended up to be nothing of the kind. So the way I feel about insurance now, and I think it's because we're with Treysta. I'm not sure it would be the same with others. It may be, I'm not sure, but I feel really comfortable now about paying insurances, but I would want to be with Treysta because I know the way things are handled. So I have trust there. The insurance companies and the insurance industry as a whole, I'm still a little sceptical about, like probably a lot of people are, but I now know that I can trust someone if the going gets a bit tough, and that's really important to me and to our family.
Yeah. So you felt that Treysta was important in guiding you through that whole claims process?
Oh, look, Treysta was incredibly important in the way that they did it. That what they told me, they actually did. They didn't promise things that they didn't carry through on. As I said, they did quite a lot of the work for us. They negotiated with other insurers or whoever they had insurance through, I guess, So I felt really well looked after. I felt that the process was really very astute. I didn't feel that they were trying to get out of paying anything. In fact, I must admit, what I felt was that they were interested in me and my health, and therefore if the cancer that I've got gets any worse, that, you know, hopefully having a payout will help me get the right sort of services and the right sort of medical treatment. I felt that they had a genuine interest in me and my health, not just in making the payout as minimal as they could. And we got everything that I was expecting we should have got looking at the policy.
How would your family have been impacted if you had decided to cancel or reduce the insurance?
The family would have been impacted with quality of life. There's no doubt about that. We still would have got by, but it would have been far more of a struggle in terms of the lifestyle that we built up. We've worked very hard, the whole family has, to have a certain standard of living, and this really aided us to do that, in spite of the fact that, you know, I may need surgery and I may need therapies and goodness knows how much that might cost. But we're now in a position to be able to handle that, but also just our overall lifestyle. Given that I'm still healthy at this stage and able to do things, it's allowed me now to get on and do things and not worry about what the diagnosis might be in a year's time or 2 years' time. If things don't go as well as I think they will, then we'll deal with it, and we've got the money to deal with it.
What would you tell someone who is thinking about cancelling or reducing their insurance?
I think if someone is thinking of cancelling or reducing their insurance, with my experience with Treysta, I'd say talk to your insurance advisor about it and make sure that you get advice on what the downside might be, and the upside might be as well, but not to go ahead and just reduce it to save money, because you really don't know what is around the corner. Now, I would have faith in Treysta advisors to give advice that is right for the person. I mean, because that's been my experience now over many years, and so I would have faith in those advisors. I can't say that I would with other insurance companies because I don't know them, and as I said, you hear some quite horror stories. But make sure you get that advice and work through it before you make impulsive decisions.
Are you able to summarise how the Treysta business performed during this traumatic period of your life?
I think the Treysta performance was really, I can only describe it really as caring and supportive and astute in terms of the processes they used, because as I said earlier, I think the time frames were met, and you don't always expect that to happen, but they didn't overpromise and overdelivered. In my summary, really, I think looking back on it, they probably underpromised and over-delivered, but I just felt supported, and I felt a sense of genuineness and authenticity from the Treysta people in terms of it's important to look after this guy's health and that he gets what he deserves. And also I just felt that there was no inclination at all of how can we get out of the policy, how can we reduce it, or whatever. It was just everything that I imagined would have happened in a very supportive manner, because we'd been paying into insurances for a while, happened. So I can't fault the process. In fact, as I said, I got more care and support from the process than I thought was probably what you'd get from an insurance company, to be perfectly honest.